I always forget to close my Instagram. And we're struggle streaming already. All right, everybody, come on in, come on in. All right, everybody, come on in, come on in. Thank you all so much for being here. Welcome back to another, I guess we'll call it Wildcard Wednesday, Ask Us Anything. For anybody new here, I am Maggie, the substitute teacher. You may know me from my cooking channel. I'm all about food and femininity. I love helping feminine women attract and keep the masculine man of their dreams. My co-founder of the Finishing School for the Modern Woman is Lu Casely. But Lucy, I noticed something different. Please share with us what's going on.
All right, so I thought about rebranding my channel because I think that the Spanish sessions, I think I've reached maximum capacity, and I think that there's a need for more knowledge, especially for women over 50. So my content is going to be, it's going to be about femininity. We are feminine from birth till the time that God sends us that invitation to heaven. But I'm going to be focusing on being feminine over 50, especially health-wise with menopause and premenopause, talking about things that we need to work on when our second half of our life comes in and it hits us. It hits us hard because our hormones again go crazy and we need to regroup. And this is my rebranding for my channel.
I absolutely love it. Well, you all heard it here first. So Lu Casely is rebranding her channel Femininity Over 50, and I absolutely love it. So I'm going to respond to that, but this is you all's night. So don't wait. Lucy and I have founded the Finishing School for the Modern Woman, which is a privately taught 8-week finishing school. It's an online Saturday school for ladies of all ages. We have from the teens up to over 60 in our class, and we have a new session starting January 6th. Enrollment is still open, and the code Black Friday still works. You can go to teachablemomentswithmaggie.com, and I'll also put it in the banner here. Once a week, we do these Q&As. There's no monologue. There is no agenda. We answer your questions as a way of giving back so you can experience what it's like to work with us in our private sessions. So I see you all coming through the chat. But I want to speak on what you said, Lucy. I think it is so necessary for so many reasons, and I'm incredibly excited for you. So I'm 48. Lucy has shared that she is 57. So we are two older women, and we feel very strongly about the older women teaching the young. Neither of us have daughters, and so we definitely have a heart to give back. One of the things that I've shared with you all, in all of my training for etiquette, elegance, femininity, this is a skill set and it is a quality that does not age. And I love what Lucy said about we are born this way. Ladies, we believe in traditional gender roles here. I always say I understand there's lots of different kinds of relationship. However, if you want a masculine man insists on a feminine woman. It is not up for debate. So that's what we talk about here. So if you're interested in that, you are welcome here. But if it's not for you, we understand that. And I say that because, my background, married my college boyfriend, but I always raise my hand to say, I got caught up in some of that modern woman thinking we're equal, we can do everything a man can do. And after 10 years, unfortunately, the marriage did end in divorce. We co parent really well, have two sons from the marriage. And since then, I've been in my second relationship with a 1% man who's very traditional and required me to kind of get on the program. All that to say, one of the quotes that he told me, ladies, is like, Maggie, tell them you all are already feminine. You just have to stop fighting it. And one of the things that I want ladies to understand, the world that we live in, fast-paced, competitive, masculine, corporate, maybe you have boys like me, it's going to bring that masculine energy out of you. And doing nothing means you will get harder than you want to be, harsher than you want to be, louder than you want to be. We are creating a space for women who want to maintain their softness, and it never ages. So I think that's beautiful. Who do we have here? Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see who we have in the chat. You all can We'll do a quick roll call, and I'm streaming on Instagram too, just to share. If you all have questions, you can type them in the chat. I'm dropping the link. You can ask us camera on or camera off. We have some sponsors and moderators in here, so I'm just going to go through. Unless I missed anything, Lucy, please stop me. We got Lady Navoa in the house. She's traveling again. Thank you so much for being here. Selena's in the house. Absolutely. What do you all think about this femininity over 50? I would love to know what you all think, because as two older women, I think our life experience should be where we can teach the younger ones. But if y'all see what I see. Gail Spradley, my first time seeing you here. Welcome. Bella is in the house. Thank you so much for being here. Mrs. Crotty Shetty. Bella just joined a Spanish immersion for January, and she's going to sign up for the finishing school. I'm so happy to have you. Lucy, can you tell us, will you still be covering any Spanish, or what should people do if they want to pick up a second language? Any tips?
I haven't thought about what I'm going to do with the Spanish portion. I think I'm going to switch. I'm going to have more content about femininity and about us, and then a little bit of the Spanish content. So I still haven't figured out how I'm going to split it. I have another Spanish, specifically Spanish channel that doesn't get much action. So I may turn all the Spanish stuff into that channel. I don't know. I haven't worked it out yet, but I think that's a great question. And to be able to pick up a different language, it's always good to start listening to Spanish. If you're going to be going to Colombia, um, pull up some YouTube channels that are specifically Colombian speaking channels. Usually telenovelas on the TV, you can catch all the drama and at the same time the language, and put subtitles on them. I think that that would be the best thing to do to start getting used to how we say things and how quickly some countries speak, how slower some countries speak. So I think it's fun. I am so happy that Multabella is learning Spanish. She's going to have a blast.
Absolutely. I studied for several years in high school, and if you don't use it, you lose it. And I just say, Lucy and I are both immigrants, and I feel like I'm a global citizen, but a proud American. However, people from other countries, when they come here, they make an effort to speak the language just by doing that, by watching TV with the subtitles. So you absolutely can, and it's never too late to learn. So we have our first question. This is a hot topic that's been buzzing around. Something told me we're going to get this question tonight. So Selena's asking, what are your thoughts on Simone Biles pursuing her husband? Should women pursue like that, or instead be proactive and give choosing signals? All right. So let's unpack this. Now, here's the disclaimer. You all know I am not up on pop culture, okay? I watch cooking channels, but I'm going to respond with what I understand to be true. And I got this from my guy. So apparently Simone Biles, I don't know if it was a dating app, and she is Olympic champion gymnast, now married to a professional football player. I believe they met on one of the dating apps, and she indicated she was interested in him and basically made her intentions known. And they dated, he courted her, now they're married. Apparently, there was an interview where he was talking about he didn't really know who she was, and something came up. I don't know if it's the interviewer said, "So you're the catch," or he said, "I'm the catch," but everybody's been hair on fire about that. So here's what I have to say. Um, I don't think Simone Biles pursued her husband. The way I think of pursuing is what a man does. I think she showed up wife ready. She indicated that she was looking for a real relationship leading to marriage, and she wasn't just, interested in something casual. If that's you, do what you do. I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, she's happily married now, and I'm happy for her. I was talking to my guy about this, and so many people are up in arms that he didn't know who she was. But I would offer this. Has anybody stopped to think that when you are a public figure and everybody knows who you are, how refreshing might it have been that Simone Biles, who's been in the gym since she was little, actually got to date someone who wanted to know her for her? How refreshing is it that he wasn't starstruck, that he found the golden ticket, and he really just got to enjoy getting to know this beautiful woman that he decided to, marry. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And, we are pro men here. And I think men are the catch. Ladies, I'm going to tell you what my man told me. Y'all act like y'all are giving out these rings. And I will say it again. We want their name, their provision, their protection, their ring, their covering. So yes, they are the catch. When it comes to relationships, men have the leverage. When it comes to dating, women have the leverage. So those of you all that have been dating and have been on the carousel, do not misplace your leverage in dating as leverage in relationships. You will fumble the bag every time. Hope that wasn't too hot coming out of the gate. Lucy, what would you say?
I would say that we've always pursued. Remember back in the day, we used to drop that handkerchief in front of the guy that we liked, hoping that he picked it up and started a conversation with us. So, we saw a puddle of water. We were hoping that a guy that was next to us would put down his coat so we can go, jump over it. So we've always had those choosing signals. We've always made the man know that we're interested. So I don't see anything wrong with the way she did it. The ultimate goal was achieved. They're married, and hopefully they will live many years together, happy without all the distractions from everybody getting into their marriage because they have no business getting into somebody else's marriage.
Let me tell you, ladies, and Lucy and I both have a connection to the late, great Kevin Samuels. And when women would come in asking all these what if questions, he would say, "What does your husband say about it?" So if you are not where you want to be, I would suggest that it's better for us to focus on our own goals and our own relationships than worrying about a woman who's happy. And I'm so happy for her. That's what we need, more happy marriages. And I agree. I think if you are interested in marriage and relationship, you indicate that. And then the man will either, pursue you if he sees you as a wife candidate, or he won't. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I'm going to say this. I'm not getting off this horse, ladies. Let me tell you something. I was talking to my man earlier, and if y'all knew the way he talked to me, he said, when a woman makes herself at a certain, let's just say, income level, you're almost treated like the man. Those of us that have these big jobs and whatnot, you end up putting yourself in like that breadwinner, provider kind of role amongst men and even amongst your girlfriends. So has anybody thought about it? Someone like Simone Biles, who's like, you know what? I know I'm coming towards the end of my professional career, even as a professional athlete. I really want marriage and family. Who is going to say, you know what, I've had my eye on that Simone Biles? She's going to have to be very intentional. And I think, ladies, you should be if that's what you want. She's going to have to be very intentional about what she wants because it's going to be harder for her. Is it impossible? No. But when we put ourselves in those rare air, small circle, areas of life, it's not the same social situations that you're just going to bump into someone getting a coffee. So I applaud her. I am so proud of her. I don't know what all the stink is about, and I guess that's what I have to say. Yeah, all right. Let's see. Let's go back. Hopefully that answers your question, Celine. We got just another Mark in the house. And Celine says, Lucy is my mom's age and looking more beautiful every single day. Shout out to Brandon L. Jett in the house, one of our founding sponsors of the finishing school and a moderator here. Brandon has been so instrumental in helping us shape what is needed. We believe in listening to the men and what the men say is needed in this space, and then actually taking that and helping teach the women. He also provided the Elegance Bootcamp books for all of our students. It's in your dashboard. So we always love seeing you here. All right, just scrolling down. Bella says it's never too late. I agree. And Gail loves the thought of having something for us mature ladies. I think so too. I'm 2 years away from 50 and I'm looking forward to it. We got Moses in the house. Mrs. Crotty Shetty watches her telenovela. John has a question for you, Lucy. He says, what language is Moroccan?
I think in Morocco they speak French and Arabic. So I don't know if they mix it, or I don't know if when they decide to do French, they speak French, or when they decide to speak Arabic, they speak Arabic. I'm not sure. It could be a mix between French and Arabic, and they have their own Moroccan language. I think that that's what they do. I'm not. I think I let me look it up. Hold on. Um,
I love that.
let's see.
And while
According
you're
to a 2012 study by the government of Spain, 98% of Moroccans spoke Moroccan Arabic, 63% spoke French, 26% Berber, 14% spoke English, and 10% spoke, let's see, um, I lost where I was. 10% spoke Spanish. So I think that Moroccan Arabic and French is the main language.
Thank you so much. Look at Lucy getting the information for us. And you all, I tell you, if you ever get the opportunity to travel, especially any areas that have a coastline, you're going to see so many cultures blended there. I think it's beautiful, especially in that Mediterranean area. It's just, oh, it's wonderful. Mrs. Crotty Shetty is talking about the different types of Spanish. Anything, I know there's Mexican Spanish and, I've heard differences, but anything you want to share about the different types of Spanish, or if you learn one, you learn them all, or where should people start?
If you learn one, you learn them all. Once you start going into the different countries, you will see the differences. Cubans speak very fast. Um, Mexicans are a little more chilled, more relaxed. Colombians are also chilled. Their Spanish is very good. They pronounce all the S's. I think Colombian Spanish is considered one of the best spoken in Latin America, besides Spain. So if you want to learn good Spanish, I would say Colombian and Mexican Spanish would be a great start because, again, you go to any country, you speak the general language, you will understand it, but I think that there are specifics per country.
I love that. Just like here in the US, we have different states, we have different slang. Lucy's on the West Coast. She's in California. I'm in Atlanta. So, there's going to be differences when you travel. But we've got KS saying, Oye, ¿cómo va? Is that look here or I should
I
know
think
this?
it's, hi, how are you doing? How's it
Okay.
going?
How's it going? Okay, so a little greeting. Maggie's preaching. Oh, sorry, y'all. Okay. MGTOW says, I don't know if this is a question or a statement. Women have a big problem transitioning from dating to commitment. It takes work. Most Western women refuse to do this work. Well, let's go there. What I've seen when I talk to women and I do consults outside of YouTube, because women, we blossom early and we have all the attention. When we're in our prime, that's when we're the most fit. That's when we have that snapback, everything. The planets have aligned. And it's almost like sometimes some women get drunk with that power because it is a power. If you compare that to our male counterparts at that age, and I'm a boy mom, sometimes they just don't, they need more time and they just are still maturing. But the problem is, ladies, what I want us to think about is the long haul. When I talked to my man today, he said, you can do anything for 5 to 7 years. You can power through any, torturous, chaotic relationship. But we are here for marriage and for long term. And the truth of the matter is, men are built for the long term. We women, that pressure to always have the decisions and the burden and the finance and the stress and all that, we're just not built for it. Are there some women that are, living that out until their 60s? Absolutely. But I know I naturally have slowed down, and most women, if they're honest, are looking for a way to kind of, retract, whether that is nesting, taking care of family, the home, the kids, the grandkids. It's just, we're different. So, um, you know, women, just be mindful that you are not thinking that a long term relationship is going to be like dating, because real relationships, they shouldn't be difficult, but they do require work and they require sacrifice. And if you're used to getting everything you want when you want it served on a platter, and telling no to this one and telling no to that one because there's always a new, bus coming around the corner, some of the women that I talk to are very shocked when they get in their 30s and 40s and they have not used their time wisely. Would you say anything to add to that, Lucy?
No, and I think that the best indication of what's going on with older modern women is if you look at all these TikTok, these women are crying on their channels saying that they didn't think they were going to be at 40 or 50 looking for someone to love them, to care for them. And again, they thought that they, at their 40s, they were going to be um, the same quality as when it comes to having children and carrying a family as you're 20, and it changes. Men are looking for a woman that can give them some type of legacy, children, care for the family, and so forth. And the older you get, the more set in your ways that you get, the more picky you get. I know that at my 50s, I do not, my tolerance level is shorter again because hormones are going crazy. You don't take that the same things that you used to take when you were 20, the same as you're 50. So I think that it's important for young ladies to understand that yes, it's important to have that hard, strong male husband to help you to through the harder years in your 40s and in your 50s. I just today at work, I got into a really interesting conversation, and I was telling my husband, and my husband is like, "Screw it, just quit." Of course, he always tells me just quit, but it's always good to know that you have that support that says, "You know what? You can drop it off. I don't think I can't stop working because that keeps me busy. Maybe if I had children it would be different, but I like working. I like, providing service to others. But, there's going to be a time where I am going to need to really slow down, and it's so good to have that man next to me that will just offer that strength and that support to be with me in good times, bad times, richer, poorer, and so forth.
Oh, I could not have said it better, ladies. There is so many benefits. And even I've shared my situation. I am in a long-term relationship coming up on 14 years now, but there are children involved. And he said, we're not doing the blended family thing. And so we have to finish what we started. And then I'll have my golden years, second time around. But Lucy's right. It is so nice to be able to. I work in tech. I was recently laid off. I've got another offer. I'm starting something soon, but just the stress of that. He's like, babe, don't worry. You need me to pay the mortgage? I'll pay the mortgage. I mean, it's just I take care of myself, but it is so nice to have that security. And if you act like, oh, I don't need a man, okay, that's an option, but you don't want to carry that burden, not for the long haul. All right, so I saw another question in here. Gail says, please explain more of the leverage for the women. So when I say women have the leverage in dating, and again, I've had two relationships and I have a whole lot of dating experience. I'm a relationship girl. But men appreciate the company of a woman. Men enjoy the beauty of a woman. It is just what it is, y'all. So we're not gonna act like, we're equal. We are not equal. We are equally valued, but we are very different. And I think our differences are beautiful. Even boys, when they see a girl, they just kind of like, it's almost like a foreign creature to them. So men appreciate that. So in the dating phase, when a woman is being courted, when a woman is being pursued, when a man is trying to get to know a woman, just like we all do in a job or whatnot, you put your best foot forward. You want to spend time with them. You want to make sure they're okay, they're comfortable. Maybe you get them nice things, maybe you take them nice places, whatever dating looks like. And so the woman has the right of refusal in dating. A man will say, may I see you tonight? Are you available this weekend or whatever? That's how it is for me. But then the woman can say, yes or no. However, we do not propose to men. So now when you're ready for an actual relationship and for the man to claim you as his own, to say that one right there belongs to me and know that you are spoken for, you are dependent on a man to make that decision. I always say the men offer, and then if we can accept or politely decline, but we cannot control, we cannot wrestle him down, give him ultimatums, cry and throw things and make him marry us. That's not how it works. And I have seen it all, y'all. But hopefully that answers the question. Lucy, what would you say about the leverage for women?
I absolutely agree. And if you notice, there are women that have gotten pregnant that think that having that baby is going to have those men marry them, and it doesn't work. You're not going to bring a man when he wants to marry you, when he wants to commit, he will let you know. There is no doubt whether he likes you, whether he wants to be with you. He will tell you, he will show you. If you have a doubt that this man wants you as to be in a committed relationship, then there's something wrong, because he will let you know that he wants you as the wife, as the future mom of their children, as somebody to spend the rest of their lives together. So yeah, I mean, you can pout, and you can be angry that a man doesn't ask you. You can be the one that asks. And if you've seen a lot of these social media proposals from women to men, the men say, no, it's not going to work. And then the relation completely breaks because that's not what the man wants. So, yeah, we have the leverage, we have the right to refuse, but we don't have the right to tell our man, you are going to marry me, and to think that he's going to say, oh, sure, I'll marry you just because.
I'm about to have another tantrum, so y'all buckle up. Shout out to Uncle Stu, the old man on the block, long time. He says, salute, salute to the panel. Happy belated Christmas to you, ladies, and your family. Yes, absolutely. I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas. If you celebrate, I had a wonderful Christmas at home with family. So yes, thank you, Uncle Stu. I'm debating whether or not I want to say everything as like harsh as my man says it to me, but I only say harsh because ladies who have not had the experience of how direct a man is, it can be very jarring. But when you grow up with a father, when you have brothers, when you have boys, you understand men are very different. They get right to the point and they will consider your feelings after, maybe. So that's just who they are. I want to say something about the unwed mother thing, what you said, Lucy, about women having children and thinking you're going to get a man in the corner to be with you. It could not be farther from the truth. And I'm just going to say what my man told me: a man establishes his own family. When he wants a family, he chooses a wife and has a family with her to create the legacy he wants. And I'm saying this as a divorcee, as a mom, and it's going to hurt, ladies, but these are the conversations that we have. If you have a child for a man and he did not choose you as his wife, you do not have a family. He has a child. I know. I'm telling you what my man told me. From the man's perspective, you may think we are a family. He did not establish the family. You got pregnant, had the child, so now he has a child. So you thinking that the man is going to create a family unit after the fact, you are mistaken. So ladies, young ladies, hear me. This thing where having kids out of wedlock on purpose is celebrated, it is so far from the truth if you care about what men think. If you don't care about what men think and you want to do whatever you want to do, like I always say, do what you want. But if you want a man to look at you with value, you allow him to establish his own family. We dated for like 6 years, 7 years, I don't know. Met him at 18, married at 25. And then were married for another 6 or 7 years. I had the boys at 32 and 34. I'm 48 now. And waited until my husband said, I think we're ready. And I know in marriage, things can happen, but it was that important to me that I waited for that man to say he was ready to be a father. Last thing I'll say this, ladies, this whole marriage and being a father, you have to look at it. Well, you don't have to do anything, but if you look at it the way a man looks at it, it is a huge honor and sacrifice. And they need to go into it willingly and intentionally. When a man proposes, this is why you do not propose, ladies. You are not willing to go answer that bump in the night. You are not willing to fight the enemy at the gate and send your husband to safety. You are not willing, if there's only enough food for one person, for you to go to bed hungry so that he can eat. If there's a sacrifice, we are not built that way. So stop acting like we're interchangeable like men. When men choose, they are saying, if someone has to sacrifice and lay down their life and everybody else can escape out the back to safety. And I get very passionate about this because I am a boy mom and we are raising them so that they understand the gravity of the situation. A man chooses a woman that he is willing to do that for. It is not a lighthearted, let's just have this big party. It is, if I have my last, I give it to you. So, proposing, having babies willy-nilly, it's just, you will not get the results that you want. And men will not look at you with the honor and respect that you want. I said what I said. All right. And I muted myself. Let us continue. We have a question in Spanish. Please, Lucy.
Okay, KS says, I believe it's important to see the difference between a relationship and dating. What do you think?
Absolutely. This is an easy one, ladies. Men establish relationships. If he has not said, I want to see you exclusively, if he has not said, um, would you be my woman, my girlfriend, my lady, whatever the words are, if he has not asked you or said, made it clear that we are dating, we are together for the purpose of marriage or long term, you're not in a relationship. And that's a problem that we have, ladies. Sometimes in our head, we are already there. We have planned the wedding, we have jumped the broom, we've done everything. And a man's timeline is his timeline. This is another reason why I say hot girl summer and casual dating is a waste, because it's a waste of time. Because you have no guarantee that when you're ready, he's going to be like, oh, let's do this. No, when you get ready, you get in the line with everybody else. So yes, there's a huge difference. What would you say, Lucy?
Okay, so the Clue channel said that maybe he wanted me to say it in Spanish. So let's go back to how it was asked in Spanish. And I said it's a great observation. Que él said, creo que es importante hacer una distinción entre relación y citas. ¿Qué piensas? So on that point, I would say that unfortunately modern life has told women that just because you're dating, you're in a relationship. That's not true. I would say another thing to notice is, does he bring you over to his family? Have you ever met his parents? Have you ever met his mom, his sisters, his family? Has he ever taken you to his world to let you know that that's the world that he comes from? That's another great indication whether he has a goal with you or not.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm starting a new webinar um, on New Year's Day where we're going to talk about my relationship reset. And a big part of that, ladies, is I'll give you a free tip into it. Does a man talk about his future including you, or does he just talk about his own future with his goals? None of this makes anybody a bad person, but I want ladies to start looking at relationships objectively. Sometimes when we're in it and the feelings are involved, and it's just like we hear and we see what we want to see. But when I do consults with women and I ask them, okay, so when he talks about the future, does he talk about his plans, his goals, his financial objectives, what he wants to do for work, what he wants to do for, recreation? Or does he talk about us and what I see for you and the role I want you to play as my helpmate and what I'm doing so that I can provide this for you and what I'd like? Does he have any of those conversations? She really was just like, he only talks about himself. That's an indication, just like Lucy said, if he doesn't include you in his current life or his future life, ladies, he doesn't see you as his woman, or he doesn't see you as his woman yet. Now, he may get there. Nobody has a crystal ball. Again, you can decide if he's worth waiting for. I think my man is worth waiting for. Or you can exit with grace. But what I want to shake the trees and let you ladies know, you cannot change him. You cannot rush him. You cannot wrestle him to the ground. A man is who he is, and he moves how he moves. So your best bet is to exclusively date the men that are already relationship minded. Because at that point, now it's just, are we compatible? And I talk about all of that as well. But again, that's why the casual stuff, do it if you want to, but I just think it puts you behind. All right, we're talking about travel and Spanish. Yes, absolutely. And yes, I want to go to all the countries, not just for the Spanish, for the food. Speaking of that, I've been beating my horse a little bit. We have a MaggieLu meetup that we're planning. So I just wanted to make sure you all know you can go to Teachable Moments with Maggie.com, and Lucy and I are going to be having a meetup at Eclipse de Luna, which is here in Atlanta. This is going to be Friday night, April 5th. 2024. All right, let me take this off. You can get your tickets. We're going to have 9 rounds of tapas, which is Latin food. We're going to have bottomless sangria or beer. There's live music, there's dancing. Lucy's coming to Atlanta, and I cannot wait to host her. So, yes, we would love to have you all with us.
We're going to have so much fun. And yes, the clue, it is eclipse of the moon. That's what it means, eclipse de luna.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, I see some more questions down here. Oh, it's not who you date, it's who you can retain. Absolutely. I'm just scrolling for questions. Was this a question? I'm sorry. Okay, MGTOW. MGTOW has a lot of comments. I'm just scrolling through for comments. Yeah. I mean, if you, ladies, and nobody's telling you what to do, but if you don't want a man, that's fine. Just like Kevin Samuel said, just make sure you're prepared to, um, take it all the way to the end until you're 65.
It is that too. If you take a look at the women calling in to some of these shows, like the Kendra G shows, the women have 3, 4 children with two different dads for the children, and they are still looking for someone to be their husbands. I mean, it's very sad, and they're older, and you can see they're tired, and and they're set in their ways. A man is not going to want that. They want somebody fresh. They want somebody that they can grow with and see their children grow together. And when it comes to pushing a man to want to marry you, it's going to be they're going to resent you. And the more you push, the more they're going to distance themselves from that environment. So it's just it's so sad, the state of the modern woman right now, when it comes to relationships and society altogether.
Yeah, absolutely. The Clue Channel says here the biological dad has pull in the house and he knows that. This is true. And ladies, you should want your children's father to be the voice. He is the father. I mean, I've shared with you all, when we divorced, we sat down and we said we're going to put these kids first. And even though on paper I have custody, the boys live with their father. They're one of them is here visiting me now, but at 14 and 16, they're bigger than me. We had one incident and their dad was like, pack your bags, you're coming with me. And it is wonderful because I know I'm not built for that. I am mom. And my man supports my ex-husband yanking that chain because that's what boys need. And so we had that conversation. As much as I would have loved to have this big, beautiful blended family, the way that we co-parent and the way that even post-divorce, my ex-husband was like, you heard your mother, they'll walk right past me. Y'all know teenagers. And so we are still very, we're still family. We are still very close. We have minor children together and the children do come first. And so I will have my time when they're up and out. I don't get what I want just because I want it. I have to finish what I started. I have to raise these children. When they're at their dad's, I have my time. But when they're here, I am mom. And if I need to call their father, he will come in here and deal with them when they're at home. So how, ladies, if you think about it, if we get out of what we just want, if you think about it, a man should be the king in his castle, and he understands and he respects another man who is handling his business. And so you asking him to kind of like push down that part of his natural like masculine protection, it's just, that's why so much is wrong. And I mean, let's just face it, every time he looks at another child, a child that's not his, it reminds him of that other man. So you just really, if you want a man, you want to start being aware of how they think. A lot of women are getting it wrong because we're trying to put, well, I wouldn't do that, but we're not men. Again, I say we are not the same. What would you say to that one, Lucy?
I agree. And, one of the things that I was thinking today, as an introvert, my mind is a ball of just thoughts. And when I speak them, they don't come out because I don't voice them out because I'm the introvert. But I was thinking, I see all of these channels with these 20, 21, 22, 23-year-old young women being life coaches. What kind of coach are you going to be when you're 21, 22, 23? You're going to give the wrong message to other younger women, and they're going to be as unsuccessful as you are until they're 32, 33, 34. Once they realize, wait a minute, I missed something. My clock is ticking. It's going to be too late. So I think that it's important to try to understand the men in your lives and to listen to wisdom of older women that only want you to succeed, because there are women that will pander to you. They will tell you what you want to hear without telling you the hard truths. Sometimes the hard truths is better to hear, even though it's going to hurt a little bit, but then you can take a step back and say, wait a minute, what she said, I think I agree. And then you do your own research, and then you start looking into things of why your life is not coming together as it should be. Do you have the right friends? Do you have, the supporting group of people that are telling you the hard truth that will make you successful later on?
Shout out to the 20-year-old life coaches. And I say that, with a little bit of jest. I'll be transparent with you all. I have a cooking channel and I started it because, fit, feminine, and friendly fitness is something that I'm going to have to watch for the rest of my life because I enjoy the snacks. I know that. So I really have to overperform in the other areas. And I really struggled with, should I make this healthy cooking channel because I'm not at my goals yet? And I was encouraged by many people that you still can teach people because you have, whether it's 80 pounds off or whatever it is, you have come a long way. So, what does that mean? I'm not saying that you have to be old and gray like me to be, and I don't even consider myself like a life coach. We're all still figuring it out. I do think if you have overcome something, if you have accomplished something, that story is valuable and it is a, testimony that can be a blessing and help somebody else. So you don't have to be all the way done to be able to offer something. But I will say this, ladies, we talked a little bit about this last week. Consider the source when you're getting life, relationship, dating, fitness, whatever kind of coaching. Take a moment to observe them. If the women that are talking to you about relationships are on the carousel, if they have a different man every 6 months, if they're multiple times, just chaotic relationship and they're telling you what you need to do, take a moment to really pause and say, would I want the kind of relationship that they have, that she has? And that goes with everything. I say financial advice, legal advice, marriage advice, whatever it is. So there is a balance there. Yes, you can learn from someone who is not perfect because none of us are. But I would say, especially us older women, our charge is to tell younger women what we got right and got wrong. And every time I come here and I raise my hand and I say, I thought I could do everything. I thought I could be out in front. I thought I could lead. I'd come home and start barking orders. And my ex-husband's like, I don't work for you. And I was like, I didn't know, y'all. So years of like work and training and classes and everything, you can get better. But just be mindful of that because yeah, you can find yourself really trying hard and the efforts being futile because the women that are giving you advice really don't know what they're talking about. Mona says, yes, we cannot push men to marry us. We had another en español. Lucy, por favor.
Quiero aprender español de Caribe. He wants to learn Spanish from the Caribbean side of the world. So, like maybe Cuba, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, I think.
Keep going.
So, en el trabajo de un compañero en el trabajo de un compañero de trabajo dijo que tienes una mujer con niños, pero dije que no lo quiero. Apparently, at work, a coworker said that he had a woman with children, but he said that he didn't want them. So again, it's one of those situations where the woman had his children without him wanting. I think that that's the case. KS, if you want to clarify in the chat. But
That is
again,
like, go
she
ahead.
trapped him.
I will say yes. I will say this. She tried to trap him because, ladies, how many of you, and I don't know, don't answer, but I don't know of any woman who surprised a man with a baby and got him to marry her if he wasn't already planning on marrying her. So the child thing, you're just going to end up as another unwed mother out here. It's just, don't do it. And don't let people tell you. I have had people tell me, kids only need one parent. Yeah, I won't say what I want to say.
That is why society is the way it is right now.
Yeah, no. I mean, even in my home, like Marcus is here. He said he's on winter break and he said he wanted to spend the second half of the break with me. And, we went through that teenage thing where, and his dad said, I'm going to call every day at 12 noon and ask your mother, are you doing what she asked you to do? Are you being respectful? Are you helping around the house? If I hear anything other than that, I'm coming to get you. So 16-year-old's been, Mom, can I help with the dishes? You need anything? I'm just like, and that is my ex-husband, but that is his son. And he's not going to have his boy out here disrespecting his mother or any woman. So children need both parents and boys need their fathers. I cannot tell you these women that just, oh yeah, the dad doesn't come around, better for me. Incredibly selfish. Don't even get me started. I'm on one tonight. Okay, let us keep going. This is a fire and brimstone episode. Okay, I'm having a little bit of I'm sorry, I need to bring the festive back. I'm sorry, I feel very strongly about this the older the boys get because, they just, both are going to take the military route. And I see the sacrifice that they're going to have to make. So at 21, you could be a life coach to a toddler.
It's important for good women to be passionate about this, um, how the kind of society that we're living in. Because again, along with our husbands and our men, we can make it better, but we have to get together and and overturn this craziness because it's out of control at this point. Um, and Killis said something about why does Lou Casely have over 50 in her name? Good evening. Because that's, I'm rebranding my channel. I'm going to be talking about things about femininity issues, about women's issues uh, for women after 50. That's the rebranding.
I love it. And you didn't ask me, but I think femininity after 50 has a nice ring to it. All right, we have another question from Lomiji. Should a woman receive assistance from other men outside of her marriage?
Absolutely not.
Okay. I'm really trying to bring it down 1,000. The answer is no. I'm trying to really think of all the exceptions. And if you want to clarify what you mean by assistance, but I'm going to answer with my understanding. And I'll drop the link again in case anybody wants to chat. If you're talking about financial assistance, no, absolutely not. I'm thinking like in the worst case scenario, maybe a father or a brother, but the husband and wife should go together. But I think, again, ego is so important to men. This is another thing we women miss. But I'm just going to tell y'all, I got in trouble for listening to somebody who was not my man, just about YouTube stuff. And it was like, why are you listening to him? He's not your man. And I was like, ooh, you know what? You're right about that. So zip it, Maggie. But it's really important. Do I want to go here? I'll go here. Especially in churches when women fall over themselves to help the pastor, bring the pies, do all this stuff, volunteer. I had a consult with a woman. She was in a relationship with a man who was everything that she wanted. He was planning to marry her. She was in a volunteer position at her church. Volunteer, not getting paid for it. The church staff, including pastor and different people, were calling her at all hours of the day. Can you do this? Can you do this? She's dropping what she's supposed to be doing with her man to go run and help. He told her, I don't like that. This is a volunteer position. I want you to hang it up. I want you to be available for me. Gave her a year to hang it up. Oh yeah, well, they need to find somebody to replace me, or they haven't, but if I don't do it, then it won't get done. All of these things. And he told her, you know what? I'm done. Here's your stuff. Give me my stuff. Then she called me. Now your hair's on fire and you're calling me to fix something when he told you he didn't like this. Ladies, again, you don't understand. A man is, the head of the household for a reason. And you seeking counsel outside of him, the only exception, like I said, unless it's like family, grandparents, parents, or maybe like there's like and men, you know how a lot of men feel about therapy, but, maybe in extreme cases, you can get a perspective, but just be very careful about running to any other men or males and talking about your business and submitting to somebody who is not your man. They're not going to take it well. They're just not. And I'll end by saying this. If you don't have the kind of man that you can happily submit to, that's a problem in and of itself. Why are you with him? If you don't trust his judgment, why are you with him? What would you say to that one, Lucy?
And I think that goes back also to the part of the respect portion. Remember, if you ask a man, what is the one thing you want from your wife or from anyone to show is respect. Bringing in another man into your relationship. And again, that is such a generic kind of question that it could be so many things, but bottom line is no, you don't bring any kind of anything from other men into your relationship. Should a woman receive assistance from other men outside of her marriage? What kind of assistance? Is it maybe calling a plumber? The plumber, I mean, that's fine. If your husband is paying for it, that's fine. But kind of financial assistance, any other assistance while your husband is away? It's really weird, that question. But I think that anytime that that you have a husband, your husband takes care of anything that you need in that house. Even talking to the plumber. I don't talk to the plumber if I have issues. My husband's the one that talks to him. I don't want to talk to. It's men to men. It's kind of, you just don't bring another man into this your marriage, into your relationship, because that's part of the respect that you show to your husband.
There you go. All right, Lumiji. So more en español, por favor.
En el trabajo, un compañero de trabajo dijo que debería salir con una mujer que tiene hijos, pero le dije que no lo quería. Oh, the first one was a typo. Okay. At work, a coworker suggested that he should go out with a woman that had children, and he said that he didn't want to. Okay, you know, it's that's your choice.
Absolutely. And men get to choose. D. Cummings says, we love to see you in Mama Bear mode. I am having a Mama Bear moment, if I'm being very honest. The one thing the 16-year-old was supposed to do was take the trash to the curb post Christmas, overflowing. Did he do it? So I'm on a little bit of a mood today, but this thing about you mentioned something going out with a woman who has kids, and y'all, look, I'm a mother too. I guess technically I'm a single mother because I'm not married. I had my children in marriage, and that, if you ask men, don't listen to me, but if you ask men, it does matter if the children came from marriage. What I see a lot now is women who do whatever they want to in their 20s and 30s and have kids for whoever. And then now they get to my age, they get to 40, you got to marry me. And the man is like, but you didn't require that for, you know, it's, is it impossible? No. Is it a lot harder? Yes. And, you know, ladies, this thing that, men are just supposed to be like honorable and rescue us from ourselves. Stop it. No, we have to show up as the best version of ourselves, to be worthy of it. And I think we should choose wisely as well. And I'm not saying that you submit yourself to somebody that you don't absolutely, respect and adore. I think so highly of my man, but I have to respect his wishes. And, I have children, and he flat out told me that's, he doesn't want to do the blended family. And ladies, you could, curl up in a ball and cry about it, or you can say, you know what? I respect that. Thank you for telling me. And then I have the decision, do I want to, exit or work with his parameters? But again, when it comes to relationships, the men, they will deal with what they will deal with, and they won't with what they won't. It just is what it is. So you can fight it, you can have that tantrum, or you can realize, this is the world we live in. Let's see. Um, yeah, I am so excited about femininity over 50. I think that is so important. Male relatives are okay. I want to know what this, they're saying no in the chat. No. Yeah. Just another Marx's assistance. Damn, y'all, I'm trying to hold it in. Oh my goodness. Yes, I would love to know what kind of assistance that was. I'm just looking, I see lots of comments. Yeah, I am passionate because this is important. I think it's gotten really out of hand, y'all. And I intentionally, Lucy and I, we talk about this in the finishing school. You have to be very intentional about what you let into your space, as far as like what you watch, what you listen to, the friends that you have, because it does affect you. So this is my one day a week that I allow myself to, think about these situations and really try to answer them. But it's, I will tell you this, as a boy mom, and they're teenagers now, they just, they're still growing, but we are raising them so that they understand the reason why you have to build yourself as a man, to be able to earn the respect, to be able to run your home the way that you want to. A man has to do that. The late great Kevin Samuels would say, a man should take that 10 years after 18 to be heads down eating you know what. And I see that, we're about a year away from my oldest going into the military. And, I thought about that with the Christmas. I'm like, I got one more Christmas with him where I know he'll be home. After that, he could be anywhere in the world. And I'm very proud of him. But I've told both of them, marry who you want to. I don't care what she looks like. You got to look at her. But the number one thing to me, she must come from a good family. And I told them, no outside children. I want you to create your own legacy. So if you think I'm the only mother telling her boys that, um, you'll be very mistaken, because it's just not accepted. It's just not. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Anything to add to that, Lucy? I'm looking for questions. Oh
No, I'm
dear.
glad that you're guiding your children, your boys, because again, the way young women are being um, guided is incredibly destructive And unfortunately, ultimately, society pays in the end. We're seeing a lot of misguided children growing up in chaotic families that they don't know they've been raised by themselves, mostly because the mom is working and they gotta do things on their own. So it's important to know that there are women teaching their sons and their daughters that um, the importance of the value as women and men, and why it's so great to have those differences. And then when you come together, you complement each other to create a beautiful family. So I think it's important for mothers to teach their boys and their girls that life is reality later on uh, humbles you. So it's smart to start telling them from very young how it works.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lucy. Sabrina says you're speaking very, very well, Maggie. You've touched on many good aspects of the need for boys to be with and or have a relationship with their father. Yes, many women make it personal and keep children from their father. It is very sad, and if you ask me, it's very selfish. I've heard women cheer the fact that, the men don't come around, and I've also had women, the reason my son is in military school is because his father was like, yeah, you need this structure. Some kids just need it. Some are rule followers and some are going to touch the fence every single time. And a man will snatch up his boy and say, we're not doing that. I'm a mom just like y'all. Oh, he didn't mean it. Oh, he's hungry. What do you mean he can't eat? Blah, 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 blah. If you watch how a man raises his boy, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't have that in me. No, I couldn't do that. So it's really important to me. I would be doing them a disservice. I would be creating the kind of men that we don't want. So, yes, it's incredibly hard. I miss them terribly. I've had women ask me, what, you don't love your children? Hmm. More than you will ever know. But love requires sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's better for them to be away from the softness of mom, so they grow up to be the men that they are supposed to be, then it is my duty to make sure they have what they need. And they have an incredible father. Even though we're not together, he is an amazing father.
And
So,
that is more love than anything else, being able to make the sacrifice to be without them. So, again, Maggie, you're always going to have those that will look at things the wrong way. The good women, we stick together and F them.
oh my goodness. Well, I wanted to say it's BS earlier, but I'm like, this we're supposed to be etiquette. Y'all, I don't know what's getting just the end of the year and just everything. Mona says, your man before the pastor. But yeah, I feel very strongly about this. And ladies, this is why we are here. We are creating this community of like-minded and marriage-minded women. Thank you for saying we are dropping bombs. I don't know if you can want to turn up your mic, Lucy. I can hear you. But Mona says, yeah, correct. Running to other men, seeking counsel, help, and always discussing what another man says is problematic.
Lomiji clarified. I starred the comment. He or I'm not sure if it's a he or she. Lo, she says they say, for example, if a man asks, "Can I help you put groceries in your car?" This man is a stranger. Her husband is the jealous type. Well, okay, Maggie, go ahead.
Yeah, I jumped off the deep end here because I thought when I hear assistance, I'm thinking financial assistance. Look, I travel, and the last flight that I took, um, there was a man behind me. We're on the plane, getting ready to put our stuff in the overhead. And he had overalls on, big red beard like Tomater. He's like, you want me to get that for you, ma'am? I said, absolutely, yes, please. My man would have no problem with that. If somebody wants to lift something, carry something, put groceries in the car, open the door, Absolutely. He would be, my man would be mad at me for not allowing that and throwing my back out trying to. I remember when I was at work one day and we were in cubicles, and next to me sat a lady from California. Shout out to Lucy. Next to her sat a man, and I had some boxes or something I wanted to bring in. So I stood up and I spoke over the lady. I was like, "Excuse me, so and so, do you mind helping me with these boxes?" And you know, the California girl was like, "I'm offended you didn't ask me." And I was like, "We are in the South. I don't know what you think, but no, like I'm going to
Or
ask a man
California.
10 times out of 10." I
Okay,
love it.
so the one thing about Lowe's question or clarification is if the man says, "Can I help you pick groceries in your car?" If the a person's man is next to you or to her, then that's disrespectful. So again, only if you're out there by yourself, it's that chivalry from men. I've had at Costco, so countless times men seeing me try to put the water bottles in the back of my trunk, and I'm by myself because my husband, sometimes he doesn't want to go to Costco with me because you know he doesn't want to go. So, and they help, and that's fine, and he appreciates that. But if the man asks to put groceries in your car, if your husband is next to you, that's something completely different. So yeah, I guess it's situational again.
100%. And see, this is why y'all were trying to answer these questions when you type them, but I'm assuming the husband was not there. But if he's there, yeah, absolutely. He don't do that. Sculpt Train is asking about the biblical basis for divorce. Like, I can't answer that. I'm not a pastor, but sometimes it happens. But I appreciate the question. Bella says, "How do women from a bad family who are working on themselves navigate that?" I love this question. Okay. Let me give a little context because I know I was on a tear. And family is important. I do come, Lucy and I both come from very traditional families. So we have masculine fathers and moms who set the example. So we all just kind of copy what we've seen, good or bad. And why it's important for me, not just because, I said so, but it's really important for me that the boys choose a young lady that comes from a good family because I want her to have the example of what real life and sacrifice is. Sometimes the parents are happy and getting along. Sometimes it may be a little quiet in the house. Sometimes we can go out to eat. Sometimes we're eating leftovers. Like I want them to see the normal life and not this fantasy of, a man is supposed to just come and put me up in a castle and haven't seen the sacrifice that a real marriage is. Okay. That being said, when a woman comes from a bad family, obviously there's nothing that you could have done. You are who you are. I think self-awareness, and we talk about this in the finishing school, self-awareness is key. Ladies, you have to understand that this is a deciding factor for some people, a lot of men. I have heard of men that may be interested in a woman, but if there's a chaotic background, we're really talking about two families coming together. They're going to say, "You know what? It's just, no, I'm not going to pay that price." So knowing that is what you have to, one, be aware and not lead with that, but you have to be honest about it. And you, as the woman, need to have that boundary and that structure in place and not wait for the man to say, "Yeah, your mom is real messy and she's always popping up unannounced." Like, you need to have that structure in place. I'll give you a couple of examples. Let's say, you do have children or whatever it is. Is it ideal? No. Is it at the end of the world? No. But another consult of mine, the other parent would just FaceTime. There was no structure. There was no schedule. They would just FaceTime. It was very intrusive. That may have worked when y'all are together, but if you're going to decide to date, the man is going to be looking at what routine and what do you already have in place, and can I see that in my life? So you may have some family members that you see on the holidays, or you see them away from your man. It's not going to be a big, blended celebration. And I would just say awareness, make sure you've dealt with things to the best of your ability. And sometimes you just have to say, as much as I would love to share everything with my mom, my aunt, my sister, you may have to keep some things to yourself and just show part of your life to them. So awareness, and then having that structure in place, and then just communicating that, you know, I wish it were different, but this is my reality. I accept it, and this is how I handle it. And I'm ready for, a life with a man. What would you say, Lucy?
And be ready that once you start setting up those boundaries, you're going to hear pushback, and they're going to say that you're mean, you don't want to be part of the family, you don't want to be, but that is something, that a decision that you've made, and be ready for the pushback. And it's okay for you to say, you know what, at this time I'm just going to remove myself from this whole chaos, because now I'm looking at my life, because they're not going to live your life for you. You are the one that's going to have to be living a life with, hopefully, a wonderful husband. And it might be that once you get into a relationship and you marry, you may just completely have to alienate yourself from that chaos, because you want to maintain the happiness in your new life, in your new family, in your new world.
Yeah, I agree. Cummings says, yeah, we can't stop bad behavior in our children. Tell me about it if there's an answer for that. But, you know, just tying that with what Bella said, we have the childhood that we have. I come from humble beginnings just like Lucy, but that family unit is so strong because we were just together. I understand and I respect not everybody had that. But like Kevin Samuels used to say, once you turn 18 and you're out here on your own, what we can't be is in our 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s still blaming stuff, unresolved stuff on childhood and whatnot. You know, your mom is a barracuda. You have to you have to act accordingly. We all know we have that family member as well. Hopefully that helps, Bella. Oh, thank you all so much. Sorry, I got a little emotional. Yes, they're in good hands. Yeah, Dad is boots on deck, and I'm always making snacks. So John says, I love it when I hear women like you speaking life back into relationships. What we have as humans is relationship. I agree. Life is about relationships. All the other, and between me and Lucy, we have so many accomplishments on paper, but what you're going to find here is we really prioritize relationships. Yes, he had a country accent too. He was like Tomater. Yeah, absolutely. All right, just scrolling to see for questions. How are we doing with time, Lucy?
I think we're good. He just went by twice. And he
Okay.
went to a room, and then he's in the studio. He's dealing with some work stuff this week. So he's been like a little, he's been in his little cocoon, protective cocoon. So I leave him alone. But I think we're good. We're good.
Okay. Yeah, you let me know. I know it's dinner time for you, so we wrap up when Lucy's husband says wrap it up. Y'all gotta we wrap it up. Mona says her husband would be fine if someone helping. Yeah, this courtesy, absolutely. Yeah, shout out to California. If husband's not there. Yeah, that having kids is, I wish women realized how serious it was. Just it can be, and I think it should be the greatest honor you can give a man. Killa says strangers always want to ask me. Ah, okay. I have a question over here on Instagram. Do you want me to read it? Okay. So Rebecca says, this is a heavy question, but how do you show your man that you do respect him, not just love him? Hint, for men, they value respect more than love. If you say, I love you, I love you, I love you, and you're disrespectful, in one ear, out the other. If you show a man respect, even if you're not the most loving, he will feel the love because of how you submit to him. How do you do that when you're not very good at showing respect in the way they see respectful? Well, you got to learn what's important to him. We all come with things that are natural to us. I am very nurturing. I am very good, like running a well functioning home. I think I'm a good mom and mother figure. I am a little long winded in my storytelling. I'm not as decisive as I need to be. I'm the extrovert of all extroverts. So I know this about myself. And when you have someone who is a private person, and I'm always doing stuff, I have to really get it together, Maggie. So, one of the things that will be helpful, Rebecca, is that men really appreciate the effort that you make, even if you're not perfect yet. If they've given you feedback and they see you acting on that feedback, that goes a long way with men because they don't like to repeat themselves. And a masculine man is not going to tell you too many times. Like my man tells me, I need you to be ready right now. So if he has given you positive feedback, continue to do what he has already told you. And if he has said that he does not like something, immediately cut it off. Without an argument, without a what? Like when I was listening to someone about YouTube and he's like, why are you listening to him? That's not your man. Didn't have another conversation. Well, but he's like, is that your man? Is he paying bills? Is he doing this? And I was like, that's how he talks to me, y'all. So that's why I'm a little bit like, ee. So I hope that helps. What would you say to that, Lucy?
I agree. For them, respect is the same as love for us. So if he tells you something, if he tells you you're spending too much time in social media, please cut it out. Cut it out. That's they love action. You can tell them as much that you're doing but if they don't see it, it doesn't mean anything to them. Show them instead of telling them your respect. So
So
I mean, I think again, men are simple. You know, they're very logical. When they tell you something, it's because they don't tell you just because they want to tell you. There's a reason why they're telling you, why they're telling you, and it's up to us to listen, to understand why they're where they're coming from, and to say, yeah, you're right, and show them that you've stopped doing what they're asking you to stop doing.
absolutely. And yes, you will be rewarded for that, believe me. Casually says, just made it. You're never late. You can update us anytime. Bella says, luckily, I only associate with one of my family members, so I won't be bringing that in drama into relationships. Yeah, ladies, if you know that you come with, we all have something. Like for me, fitness, I always put myself on the hot seat. That's always going to have to be top of mind for me. So I can't just walk around like, oh, I woke up like this. I have to be mindful about eating right, cooking right, working out. If I am going to eat off of my plan, I keep it for Christmas Day and then give everything away. So I don't just walk around like, oh, I can let it go. Like we have to know what we're bringing that's an asset. And like Lucy says, that's a liability. And if you have a liability, then you have to overperform on your assets. Having children is a liability. So when I do see my man, I can't bring him the worst of me. I'm tired, I'm cranky, I'm whatever. Like I have to really find it in myself to still show up and be what he needs. So there's a lot there, ladies. Yeah, D. Cummings says growth requires change. Absolutely. You are welcome. Dr. Cash says, I like this channel. We like having you here too. You're under 50. Absolutely. Yes, yes. Oh, separating from the family. Yeah, sometimes you have to do that. Move accordingly. Yes. I'm telling you, ladies, some of y'all, let other men or other women speak into your relationships, and counsel is great um if they want what's best for you. There's a lot of, All right. Another question from Lomiji. Should women be aware of other women on their feminine journey? Again, a little vague, but I'm going to say yes, ladies. We are always, I know we don't like the word competing, but yes, before, during, and after, there is always someone else who would be happy with what you have. Always. Sometimes they're close, sometimes they're far. But women are always watching. And ladies, I'm telling you, Lucy and I are in our 40s and 50s. And what did my man tell me? He said, especially a woman once she gets to a certain age, he said, they hunt at night. I was like, whew. But yeah, what would you say to that, Lucy?
I agree. And as a Latina, we see those eyes watching and it doesn't, we don't like it. We don't like it, but we do try to keep ourselves pretty as we can at our age for our husband. You know, we always love to hear, I hear my husband, oh, you look beautiful, baby. Oh, don't worry, you look perfect. That's what I like to hear. But there are women that are looking, trying to, get in the environment and in the relationship. And nope, nope. So you always have to be competing. Even when I'm 95, I will be competing for my husband that's probably going to be in heaven. I am going to be fighting for him while he's for his soul. So yeah, we're always going to be competing.
I love that. Lucy is going down with this ship, and I am the same way. I'm like, y'all, I've been waiting on the no, no. Yeah, so ladies, just accept it because men know in the world where they're out there slaying the dragons, there's always an enemy at the gate. Men operate that way. They don't la da 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 da. When I'm out with my man, head on a swivel. And I'm just like, oh, it's beautiful. Look at this. And he's like, head on a swivel. And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I'm always watching. And I'm like, oh, just got really serious. So we need to approach it with that same amount of seriousness. Yes, don't slack off, and you don't have to be perfect. It's not about that, but carry yourself in a way that shows that you continue to want to earn what you have. D. Cummings says, my question to you ladies, how can you help younger women express their emotions as feminine and intelligent as Maggie? Thank you. While defending their thoughts passionately. Yeah, this is a skill that can be practiced, but it requires work. Hello. Um, we are emotional creatures. And I'm 48, so I'll be in Lucy's 50 plus club in a couple years. But ladies, we are emotional, and so we need to know that about ourselves. What do we tell Bella about awareness? If you all see me like in other spaces, in other videos, I have a very silly side. Sometimes in the kitchen, I'm singing songs or whatnot. That is not always appropriate when I'm really trying to get a point across. So I've really worked on my communication. But what I tell ladies, and I have a free communication class if anybody's interested, what I tell ladies is you have to know what your triggers are, and you have to have your soothing or your coping mechanisms. You have to be able to get yourself together and only communicate when you are at a point where you can do so rationally. If you know you are on 10, now is not a good time. Do I get on 10? Sometimes. But I know that. Do I stay on 10? Never. So what I do is I say, the boys have really put me through it. I'm going to need, and I time box it. I need 10 minutes, 15 minutes, overnight, whatever. And then I follow through on what I say I'm going to do. And during that time, I am doing the things that calm me down. For me, being domestic is really relaxing. So I may cook, I may clean, it may be going for a walk, it may be listening to music, taking a bath. But you need to have those things, know what they are, and be ready to do them to bring yourself down so that you can be coherent. Because ladies, when we're men shut down, the boys shut down with me. They're like, they call it mom noises, and I'm like, men just shut down. They're just not. So we can't expect them to bring us out of our own hysteria. So I get excited. I don't really get mad, but if you know you have a temper, know that about yourself and start putting those things in place now so that you can communicate from a point of a rational adult, not a toddler having a tantrum. What would you say, Lucy?
And it's also important to learn how to fight the right battles because not everything is a battle. Not everything requires a debate. Not everything requires the back and forth. So I think that being feminine is also being um, non-reactionary, just sitting back and just watching and listening to what the issue is. And, if you have something to say, um, say it in a soft, calm manner. If you can't do it, then, like Maggie said, tell your significant other, I need some time to process the information, because that's me, the introvert. When I hear a lot of stuff coming at me, I need time to you've gone through from A through Z. I'm still on A, trying to figure out what's happening throughout. So I think it's important to say, um, let me take some time to think about it, and then I'll get back to you in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or maybe we can discuss this when we're at a better space tomorrow. Um, what was the question again? How can you help younger women express their emotions as feminine and intelligent as Maggie while defending their thoughts passionately? Again, I think it's important to sit back and think about why you want to express those emotions. Is it something, again, that was that triggering, and why is it that triggering that you need to respond immediately? So I think that you can be passionate about sharing your thoughts, but I think it you have to choose what it is that you're going to be fighting for. Because if you're sharing your thoughts passionately every second of the day, that gets tiring for a man. Because men, they're it's hard for them to see all that emotion coming at them all the time. So that's where we as women need to choose when is the right time to defend that specific thought passionately.
Yes, and I was scrolling ahead just looking for questions. How are we doing, Lucy? Do we need to wrap? I always
We're
get
good.
we're
Good. I
good?
think he's
Okay.
I think he's exercising. After the exercise, I need to go and
Okay.
figure I think I'm gonna make him a sandwich with some chips.
Ooh, sandwich. That sounds yummy. Okay, there was a question in here about the obesity rate around among married women. One thing I'm not strong on is the statistics, but I always say, y'all, the weight thing has been a struggle for me. But I would just say, like we said, the competing, you need to be aware of it. And if this is a struggle for you, and I know I'm not alone, then you need to be actively doing something about it. And it could be weight, it could be your spending, it could be your temper, it could be your ratchet friends, it could be anything that is an area for you. I know what mine are, and men need to see that you are aware of it. You're not pushing it under the rug. You're not making excuses for it, and all the things that we say. I would just say that I try to worry about my situation and helping those around me. I don't think about like the macro. I mean, I do want to help the community, but Lucy and I, we do it one drop at a time in the bucket. Would you add anything to that, Lucy?
No, perfect. Very well said. And Killy's had another question here. Let me pull it up.
Sure.
Do you think there is always a good mate for a man and woman? My personal opinion is that it's like winning the lotto to find the right mate, even when doing everything right.
All right. So here we go. I'm trying to gather my words, and that's another tip, ladies. You don't just have to respond right away. You can take a beat to think about what you want to say before it comes out of your mouth. This is a loaded question because of the word right. Love and relationships are a decision. As women, we want to feel, and I believe in love and soulmates and all of that. But if we think about relationships 100 years ago, where people like, that is the one for me, I found my person, like all of that stuff. And I get it, ladies. I'm right there with you. I love a good love story, Disney all the way. But ultimately, there was a question in here about duty. When people, either were brought together or met, my parents met in college or whatnot, they made a decision and they stuck by that decision. And yes, love is a big part of it. But I think when we think that there's only one right person, I think as women, we close ourselves off to someone that could be a really good husband. Now, you have your deal breakers, yes, but like these long lists, and he's got to have all of these things. And Lucy and I are both divorcees. She's remarried. I'm in a relationship. So clearly, we have been married to other people that we're not married to now. And for whatever reasons, the marriage ended. So long-winded version of, I would say, there are some deal breakers that are absolutes that, okay, I'm not doing that. But there are characteristics and there are qualities. If God forbid, I'm with the love of my life, but if God forbid he were taken tomorrow, would I be, alone for the rest of my life? Hopefully not. I would hope to find or be found by another man that has the type of qualities that I can respect, admire, and happily submit to. So that's why I was struggling with it. But what would you add to that, Lucy?
I think that one of the qualities for the that I would say if I were looking for the right person for me would be his character. Is he a man of character? Is he a good man? Everything else, I mean, is he short? Well, he can change being, short. Is he a little chubby? He can work out and lose the pounds. So I I don't know. That's I don't know if it's like winning the lotto. I think that you make the decision and say, I'm going to stick through with this man that, we chose each other and make it work. I don't think it's that hard.
Yeah, hopefully that answers. I was just hopping around. I do like this one right here from Charles. Charles says, guys have to remain calm and not match the chaotic energy of his lady. You can't have two people on high alert. Yes, ladies, I think that's one of the things we really misunderstand about men. And when emotions escalate with men, it gets physical very quickly. You know, I'll share it with you all. That's why the boys live with their dad. They're the same size and they got into it with each other and it got physical. And their dad was like, oh no, oh no. I am not jumping in the middle of two grown men, 14 and 16, who don't, like each other. So, making sure you bring your energy down, you're actually doing a service to your man, because that is a last resort when a man should be defending, with his last. And if you're always at level 10 and then he has to be at level 10 with you, not only is that stressful, I don't know why anybody would like that, but it's you don't realize what that means to men and how they naturally respond. So being his peace not only serves him, but I think it serves you, because it helps him to relax his shoulders. Because out there, ladies, they have to be head on a swivel. You want to create that space where they can relax and enjoy. That's what I would say. Anything to add to that one, Lucy?
I agree, and I think it's time because if
Okay.
it's not my husband, it's the
The
dogs.
dogs.
And I have one right next to me, Enzo, right here, and then Kara wants to look at. Can you see him?
I can.
And then Kara wants to do something, so
Okay.
I need to take care of my
No,
family.
yeah, of course, absolutely. So Rebecca says thank you on Instagram. I hope you all enjoyed this. Lucy and I do this once a week. Ask Us Anything is Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. If you're interested in the other consults, the courses, the coaching, any of the other services that we provide, which are all private, we just do this once a week on YouTube, so you all get a taste of it. Go to teachablemomentswithmaggie.com. The finishing school is open for enrollment, and next course starts January 6th. It is an 8-week privately taught finishing school. All right. Any final words to close us out, Lucy?
Thank you all for being with us throughout. How long have we been doing this? Maybe like the second half of the year, or
I
maybe
think
like the
so.
last 3 months.
Since
And
we started the finishing school in like August, right? August?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and thank you, and wishing you a great new year. See you next year. Wishing you all a prosperous, wonderful new year, and we are going to change society. We are in it together.
That's right. Ladies, we are going to do it. So share if you like this community, if you don't mind us spanking you a little bit as we learn. We would love to see you on the new year. Please be safe. However you celebrate, I will be at Eclipse de Luna dancing it for research purposes for you all. And then we'll be back next week, Wednesday. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. We will see you in the new year.
Adios.
Bye, Instagram.